and gentlemen, it's not over yet. We got plenty of Starcraft 2 for you. It's now tied 1 versus 1. Polt versus Hero. Gentlemen, take it away.
Thank you, Clutch. Map number 3 will be Cloud Kingdom. I have no idea what to expect from these two players. Hero is just playing out of his mind right now. I don't know if he can lose against Terran.
Yeah, I mean, currently up 2-0. You think about the last tournament appearances he's had, going 4-0 with Teja, and then 3-0 with Teja, and now 2-0 with Polt. That's quite good. I mean, it is honestly virtually impossible to have lost not even a single map at this point, but if you're in Polt's shoes, you feel terrible, because right now you're thinking, all right, now I got to scout for another pylon. And every single player's had that experience where they have a loss like that and thinks, I hope nobody saw.
Bad luck for Polt. A lot of people watching that one.
There were a non-zero number of people watching that last game.
Now, the good news is this is a best of 7. Polt is not on the brink of elimination yet. He's down 0-2, but he can still bounce back. He has a lot of time. And I think Cloud Kingdom is the perfect place for him to start piecing that comeback together. It's a map where I think certainly the kind of macro games that Hero likes to play should play into the kind of macro games that Polt likes to play.
Yeah, it's all going to come down, though, to the retreat angles of the Marine Marauder in the mid-game. The fact is that in other matchups, it's counterattack paths, you described this as, but in this situation, in TVP, you can load up into your medevacs, retreat back over the ridge. It's hard for Protoss to follow. It's equally good to do those force fields to trap the Terran forces.
That's exactly right, Sean. I think we are almost ready to jump into game as we can see our versus screen popping up right there. Polt and Hero, both these guys have come so very far. 9 weeks of regular season play. Cloud Kingdom. Spawning in the top right-hand corner of Cloud Kingdom, the red Protoss player leading 2-0. LiquidHerO.
And down in the bottom left from Team TSL, recently having an incredible run at IPL 5. Can he do it again here at the NASL Season 4 Grand Finals? It is Polt. This has got to be my favorite map in the entire map pool. Almost every strategy works magnificently on it. There's so many places for different attack angles, different expand angles. I mean, interestingly, we've been seeing a lot of players take this as their third in Terran versus Protoss, just due to the fact that it helps always force engagements in a more open position, in a more retreat-friendly position for that Marine Marauder medevac mid-game.
It's a very dynamic map through all phases of the game. There's tons of early game shenanigans that you can fall back on. There's a lot of options for mid-game aggression, and of course late game it is very fun as well, as it kind of becomes a battle for 4th bases or 5th bases, as you're forced to always kind of move down to the low ground eventually.
Yeah, and especially the fact that the expansions are outward. You end up moving away from the center of the map when you have more and more stuff to defend. Makes everything feel so vulnerable. And that's always always a sign of how well the Protoss is playing, is how many pylons are hidden about that map. Given this early command center, I pretty much would expect Hero to go for the straight Nexus. Oh, and with no gas mine and no core starter, it's looking just like that.
Once again, that's exactly what he's going to do. One of the things that blows me away most about Hero, Sean, is I've already told the story. He stayed at my house for a few days this past week, and he just wasn't sweating it, man. He didn't stress at all. He sat back on the couch, watched a lot of Korean movies, didn't practice a lot of StarCraft, didn't even know there was a patch. You're like, Hero, what do you think about the patch? Patch?
Patch?
Heart of the Swarm patch? No, Wings of Liberty patch. There was patch?
As it turns out, they nerfed the Infestor, and he was like, well, that wasn't a problem in the first place anyways.
And I guess the one thing that I can say about Hero is he always exudes confidence, man. From sitting on the couch with his feet up eating popcorn to trying to mana pylon.
He really wants to plant that pylon down there.
What? What just happened?
God! No way! In the semi, he's trapped 3 of those SCVs. All right.
Oh.
Now, if we head back home, the question is he chrono boosting Warp Gate?
No, he's expanding. Well, no, he's not chrono boosting a Stalker. That's still very annoying.
Oh my gosh.
Almost.
Denied.
Almost, little guy. It's okay. We'll still send a flag to your family.
Well, he was pretty much unable to mine from those two patches for an extended period of time. Now the depot's going down. This is a pretty important part for the... Yes, go ahead and clap. That's great. He killed off the probe! Yes! Oh, the Terran fans. Can we celebrate now? Celebrate, my friends. He's doing it. This is also another really critical place to plant the depot, so that way he can't do that DT warp-in harass.
That's right. Right now, Hero is going to return back to chrono boosting his probes, as he does have a single stalker out on the map, just going to chase this SCV across, make sure that Polt has no vision, has no idea what's going on around him. Third command center going down for Polt now, so he's going to play the super greedy macro game this time.
I like this quite a lot on this map. I mean, controlling this ramp, you don't actually need to have a bunker down. I mean, Polt has already spotted the timing of this Nexus, and it's very easy to know if it's a quick Nexus or not by seeing its hit point or by just clicking on the minerals and reading how much has been mined. And we're seeing Hero go for the very standard defensive 3-gate play, and for every other player, I would call it defensive, but Hero has a tendency to always attack when he goes for those 3 gates.
And it's really crazy how effective it can be if you catch your opponent at awkward angles at good times. There is going to be a bunker, though, for Polt, so he's going to be mostly completely safe. Certainly with this number of Marines out.
And that is a very suspiciously angled probe moving by. Polt, no doubt, going to have at least something to consider in that regard.
Already sees the pylon, completely aware of what's up, so he will at least be able to deal with that later. Probably can't afford to send any units over just yet. Meanwhile, he is getting his first tech lab.
Did he see the warp in? Now, it looks like Hero is just going to be retreating with this, but it looks like Hero is actually not going to be retreating.
Wow, this is a very eager couple of units. These sentries are out for blood.
This is a nice timing, but generally you're aiming to strike at around 7:30 or even as early as 7:15 with a lot more units than this. Actually, around 11 units at the 7:15 mark if you do it as aggressively as you can. So Hero's going to have some sort of backup plan churning up. This is very smart. Hero's actually not intending on making this the big, aggressive, all-in type move, or even just a big, aggressive attack. He's just trying to freak Polt out.
And mission accomplished. Polt is pulling SCVs off the line. He's built a second bunker. I mean, he is very paranoid about the potential for some heavy gateway aggression. And it's all just a feint, man. Hero is not committed to this.
This was a brilliant pullback by Polt. If these were at the front, the whole goal for Hero was to force field and shove a few SCVs forward and pick this off. Nope. Manages to get one.
One dead SCV and a very angry Zealot as he got kind of shot up, but he does walk away.
And so far we're seeing Hero essentially transition back to the exact same style that he was doing in the first game. Single Colossus straight into double forge. Ooh, but look at this. He's actually not going to be going straight up for the gateway, for the Twilight Council. He's going for the range, which is very much so what he's been doing a lot on this map.
Do you see this turning into two-base aggression, or is he still going to be playing passively?
You know, I actually saw him do a style very similar to this recently. I believe it was in the Iron Squid tournament, where he's going to way overbuild Colossus as he takes this third base. Like, get 7 or 8 Colossus, way more than your average Protoss player would. What does Terran do? Builds a huge number of Vikings. However, because he has so many, he's going to end up getting a ton, or the Colossus pack's going to get a ton of extra swipes off. And meanwhile, in the background, Hero's built up a huge number of gateways, 13 or so. So he ends up with this really odd mass Colossus into heavy Zealot Archon, and it's really difficult to deal with that as Protoss, because you just don't quite have the ghosts, because you've built, like, what, 20 Vikings?
Now, Hero has seen this third command center floating forward. Polt also seeing that observer, so Hero's going to try to put on a little bit of pressure here. Thermal Lance not quite ready, but those are really good force fields, catching a lot of Marines. Polt is way out of position, and this just got really scary. More great force fields by Hero, and Polt in a terrible position.
How on earth is Hero finding this awkward attack timing? Polt's going to have to pull back. I mean, the 1 Colossus, no range, 5 Stalker push, that's not an attack. He just decided to do that. But again, this is what makes Hero such a phenomenal player. Just identify that absolutely magnificently.
Oh, Stalker's a little bit overexposed. There's no sentries here with this army, but this Colossus, a formidable opponent, forces Polt to fall back even still. There is a pylon nearby, so Hero can continue to warp in reinforcements. He's got a second Colossus crossing the map, and this might just turn into a pseudo-Squirtle push, although he's taking the third base.
Third base going up behind it. We're seeing 1-1 almost done. Polt denying any additional pylons. We see a lone Colossus making his way towards the rest of the army.
Ooh, don't go that way, Colossus.
We're seeing a lone Colossus saying,
No,
kill
I wanna
me!
go back!
Oh my god, Polt manages to get himself to free Colossus.
Oh, sad Colossus. Polt kind of, that kind of is a good way to bounce back, basically nullifying any damage he took from the little initial poke. Will immediately retake his third base.
You know, this is what we were talking about earlier, that Hero does have a tendency to kill himself in a lot of these games, and that is a prime example of it, just waltzing a Colossus right into the middle of nowhere. But even so, I mean, you look at the units lost tab.
Still enjoys, well, I guess it's about even-ish,
Wow.
pretty close. It does have a faster third base, though, which is going to work nicely in his favor. 63 harvesters to 61 harvesters, so very even economically in that regard. The mules do mean that Polt will mine a little bit more minerals than Hero will, but I don't think that's going to bother Hero too much. Supply is quite even. Upgrades are continually being chrono boosted.
2-2 was a little bit delayed by some of those engagements at the front. Let's see how Hero plays this off. Ordinarily on this map, especially recently, we've been seeing him build a lot of Colossi, which is, of course, one of the easiest ways to defend yourself on 3 bases on this map. But now going for the hallucination. Oh, this hallucination play made a debut against Stefano in the BWC, where we saw him hallucinate 4 or 5 Colossus, and Stefano built way too many.
Uh-oh, Stalkers, why are you here? One Stalker down, and then the rest of them are running for the hills.
Oh my gosh. And Zell Legs is not going to help them at all. Oh, they're in the corner. Oh, Hero, what's going on?
Oh, this is a huge mistake. Every Stalker down, and Polt gladly accepts that donation. He's going to start getting aggressive after picking off that much free supply. I don't think he lost a single unit there.
I mean, that was just brutal. But yet again, what makes Hero so excellent in this matchup is his consistent counterattacks, starting from all the way on the right and making his way down to the third, getting a good chunk of workers.
Yeah. Picks off a handful of SCVs. They're not as valuable as the 12 or so Stalkers he just lost, but it does sort of at least pull Polt back off the map and allows Hero to take back some map control. Here's that hallucinated Colossus push that we were talking about, but without the Stalkers, it's not the same kind of aggression.
And these hallucinated Colossus do have the range upgrade. So sort of like trickery at an incredible distance.
Incredibly ticklish long-distance trickery.
2-2 wrapping up right now. We're seeing Hero, again, add on so many gateways, up to 9 right now. Trying not to overbuild Colossus, but trying to reveal them to encourage more Viking production.
Yep. Storm also about halfway through completion, so as soon as that's out in play, I think Hero's going to feel a lot more safe. No sign of a 4th base for our Protoss player, but it looks like maybe Polt's thinking about taking one. He's clearing out these pylons. He's just securing that low ground.
This is what I love about Polt. He's getting his 4th command center before he gets a Ghost Academy. A lot of players are even getting their Ghost Academy as they take their 3rd base, trying